Hello everyone, my name is Zyna Obasi. I am your host on The Waiting Room with Zyna. I'm also the author of Zyna's Waiting Room. Of course, like I always tell you, Zyna's Waiting Room gave rise to this program in the first place. For those of you who are joining for the first time, Zyna's Waiting Room captures my experience and that of others in the waiting room. And by the waiting room, I mean 17 years of childlessness. And in the midst of it, lost a baby at birth, went through all kinds of experiences, failed IVFs, failed attempts to have surrogacy, so many disappointments. But to the glory of God, my baby came in 2020 through adoption. And today I am the happiest mom ever. Okay, so that's how I decided to listen to the urge in my heart to do more than just writing this book and start this program. And today, The Waiting Room with Zyna completed its first season 2 weeks ago. So we have started another season, which is the interim season before season 2. This particular one is what we call a special edition. It is The Waiting Room with Zyna Street Edition. Of course, I don't just want to be the one talking. I want you to hear from the people out there what they think about the whole waiting experience. We started with adoption last week, and as you know, adoption is wide, so it's going to take us about 2 or 3 other episodes to complete it. We started last week and we had people on the street define adoption. Today we're going to have them talk about why you should adopt. So follow me to the streets of Abuja, Lagos and Port Harcourt and hear what people have to say about why you should adopt. I'll be right back.
Adoption should not be because you don't have a child, you adopt a child. No. Adoption should be because of the love you have, the passion you have for people that are suffering. And you feel that these people are suffering and I think they are also people. They don't have parents, so I can also support them as part of parental activities. So to me, I don't believe adoption is supposed to be made for those who doesn't have a child.
I was 10 years old when my father passed away. And we were like 5 with a single mom. And suddenly I took ill. Out of the 5 kids, I took ill and I was so very, very ill that my mom could not even do anything anymore. She couldn't go to her shop. She couldn't even take care of the remaining 4 kids that were left. She was always going with me to hospitals, from one hospital to another. Along the line, a family of ours, close family of ours, decided to adopt me, even in my sick state. Even in the state I was, that I was no use for them. I was useless, kind of. When you talk about when you have a child that you could send on errands, that you could make them do chores at home, I could not do any one of those things. But they decided to show me what true love is. And they are.
Now this is love. I'm still coming back to him. I just needed to pause and let that simmer. Because we live in a society where people think there's nothing to give. This man is not younger than 40 years. This was done for him some years ago. I think and I still believe that there's something here. There's still love in this country. Because people are getting to that stage where we are complacent. We don't care. We just focus on me, myself, and I. If a family can take this guy in, remember, adoption, we always legalize it, but they didn't legalize it. All of these people are just saying adoption because someone took him in. They did not legalize it. They did not change his surname. They took him in. It reminds me of what my mother did. There was never a time there were only 8 of us in the house. My mom, when she was alive, there were always people in the house. She didn't legalize any adoption. So she didn't really adopt, so to say, because it's not adoption if you don't legalize it. But we can also call it informal adoption. That's what they did for him. Imagine to the stage where he couldn't even do anything at all. He could not add any value to that family. He was sick. And another family took him in, fed him, took care of him, so the mother could have time energy and some money to take care of his younger ones or his siblings. I don't know if they're younger, because as their father died, of course the whole responsibilities would drop on the woman. So there is still something inside you that you can do. That's why this program is coming to you. Don't close your heart to people. Don't just only focus on yourself. There's something we can do for people out there. Let's listen to what he has to say.
They're the one that comes to give me my bath on the bed in my room. They're the one that comes to serve me my food in the room. They're the one that comes to take my pee, my poo in the room, because I was terribly ill. And for this their singular act, it showed me how very important it is, the issue of adoption. It is not until you are looking for a child of yours that you cannot find, that you now say that let me go and adopt. You can adopt as long as you have the love and the care and the resources to take care of another child. These people sent me to school. They waited for me to get better and decided to send me to school. Even while I was in school, they were the ones that most people thought that were my real parents, because what they did to their kids was what they did to me. The same food their kids eat at home is the same food that I eat. The same way they treat their own kids is the same way they treated me. They made me felt love, and I felt a sense of belonging in that house. Anytime I'm going out, the same process their own children goes through by taking permission in advance. That is what I have to go through. I can even say by the time I grew older, much more older, when I was going to get married, they were the first set of people to know my wife, that I took my wife to. They are the ones they call my parents. Even my own mom regards them as my parents.
I hope you heard that. What is this life all about if you cannot give love? Because people tell me, Zyna, stop saying this thing. This is Africa. This is Africa. I mean, even if I adopt, they will say, what will people say? What will people say? Can you see how another family took in someone and took care of him in such a way that even his wife, the first time he was introducing her, it was this same family. So there is nothing that is stopping you from showing that love today to someone else. It may be someone you have brought in already into your house, maybe your cousin, your neighbor's child, or your auntie's child, or something like that, a far relative that lives with you. How you take care of them, how you care for them, how you do all of these things. It can go a long way to imprint in their head. Because when this family was showing him love, they didn't write it down, their goals, their aim, the objectives. No, they were just doing what they thought was normal. But look at the message he sent to him. He felt a sense of belonging. He felt special. He felt loved by another family. He grew up knowing and understanding and accepting adoption. Now, if you do this for another child, and another child grows, that child grows up and does it for another person, it's what they call pay it forward. Everybody keeps doing things like this and people keep recording it in their head. The world will actually become a better place. But when you just imagine it and say, I beg, it doesn't matter, and you shut it down because you think negative thoughts about it, it will also remain like that. So I hope that this program goes a long way in opening your minds, that we can all show love. Let's hear what the next speaker has to say.
Some people adopt because they don't have anybody to stay with them. And as a human being, God brought us into this world to bear fruit. But at times, a couple may stay without a child. That is one. So they don't want to all stay alone. They want to have their own. So they adopt. There are some people who are saying that they have it all boys. There's no girl. This is a category of people, they go on and adopt a girl so that they will have everything it takes. They will say they have boy, they have girl in that arena. You know very well that we were all created by God. So no matter where ones come, as far as you can be able to maintain this person you adopt.
Okay, so I just need to say something about what he was talking about. The second reason as to why people adopt. He mentioned sometimes you might have girls or boys and you want to adopt the other sex so that at least you have the two of them. And that is very important. I wish everybody will listen and accept this line of thought. Now, I heard a story about this lady, had a very good job. Her husband was doing well. She had 4 girls and she wanted a boy. I mean, this woman was so troubled about this. And then all of a sudden she took in and she was praying, of course, that it would be a boy. And finally she did the test and it was a boy. But sometime, I think around 5-6 months, the baby stopped, she just noticed that something was not right. And she went to the hospital. They told her that the baby was dead in her womb. This woman was not having it too. She went for prayers. They told her we had to evacuate. She said, no way. This boy that she waited for how long? And this woman kept believing God, in quotes, that it was going to manifest. The baby was going to come back alive. And she carried this dead baby for some time. I don't know for how long. One day she was in the office, she was working, and then something just came out, like a very smelly substance, or should I say discharge, came out from her private part and then just spread around the whole place, and the ooze was bad and she fainted and they rushed her to the hospital. By the time she woke up, they not only evacuated the fetus, they removed her womb because the womb was already decaying. And the husband was like, save my wife. That was the only thing they could do. They removed the womb. She woke up, and when she came to, and they told her, of course, she sobbed and all that. But the story I'm bringing out of this is, why go through all of that if you can adopt? Now, this woman, it's not like she doesn't know about adoption. She does, but she doesn't think it's for her. That's just the only reason. She doesn't think it's for her. Because we have people whose minds are closed. You just close your mind to certain things and say it's not for you. Why? She almost died. Thank God they were able to save her life, because, so many people have died in the process. I must have it by myself. When God has given this world, given so many children already into the world, if you have access to adoption, you can adopt one. If you have all boys and you want a girl, you can do that. If you have all girls and you want a boy, you can do that. You can see add to the sexes that you have already. It doesn't matter. The main thing is to show love. It's not even for your selfish interest, not just because you don't have. It should be because you want to show love to these children that are out there and probably will die poor if you didn't step in. That should be the main reason why we should adopt. If you see it like that, you will not have any of these negative thoughts towards it. Let's hear what a lady this time has to say.
Most couples, maybe they're having issues on having children. So most couples would like to go for adoption. Most times it may depend on the pressure that are coming from both sides, both the man's family and the woman's family too. So that is the main reason why most couples go for adoption.
It's not advisable for me to adopt. I believe the purpose why we are in this life is to add more to the woman living being. So I believe I should have a children than for me to adopt. So I don't see the reason why should I be go and adopt. So I don't see the reason why people say because they don't have children, they don't need to lose hope in God, because it's God that gives. So you just have to put no prayer and put necessary things I'm supposed to put in place so you get the children.
There they are. The people, the God that gives people, they are here. I don't even, that's why this program is here. So that people will watch and hear reactions like this and understand. If you share this line of thought, listening to him, I'm sure you will change your mind. Because you have heard other people saying the opposite. You will listen to yourself from another person, then you will advise yourself accordingly. What is God gives? He has given. There are so many children already he has given. Take one and take care of them if you can. That's what we're saying. We're just saying that you cannot adopt because God will also give you. Well, he might give you to have by yourself, but he has given a lot of children. And there are people who will never have children, no matter how many times you go for prayers. It's not a curse. You will never have. So what do? Believe that there is no God just because you don't have children? What about other things that he has done for you? So some people tell you that don't give up hope and all of that. What has that got to do with adoption? Adoption in the first place doesn't only mean that you don't have children. So why don't you take one and be taken care of? Reduce that pressure that you are receiving from outside. Have something else to take care of. Take your mind off things. And then see, if you have, fine. If you don't have, no problem. At least you have one. Let's hear him.
I don't believe both of them should have the same medical problem concerning birth issue. Should be from one or the other, not both. In this, if I fall in kind of situation, I prefer to look for other partnership so that I can have children than for me to go and adopt. Because no matter how you adopt, it's not like your own children that you can say, this is my child, this is my son. But when you adopt, it's nothing bad. When you adopt, the person was great tomorrow. You still see some people say, don't mind it. It's not the biological father of that girl. It's not the biological father of that lady. So it is not advisable for me.
You see, what will people say? There's no other reason that I picked from what this guy has said, except for the fact that he's drinking Paradol for someone else's headache. What will people say? What do you care what people say? If the person you raised today becomes the president of this country tomorrow, they will still shame you on the road? I mean, if someone just gave you water when you are growing up, one day you are crying on the road and they gave you water and you grow up to become the president, they will remind you, I was that woman that gave you water. They will come and claim, my son. They will come and claim you. So why don't you worry about how to raise this child that you have taken in and forget about what people will say? Because if he's saying it's not my own. In the first place, when you adopt, legally, the country, at least here in this particular country, every other country I know, once the adoption is legal, they give you paper and the child's name changes to your own name. If you're a single woman and you go and adopt, that child will change name to your name. Yes, that child's name will be changed to your surname. So it is not a matter of no, my child. It is your child. That becomes your biological child. The government recognizes that child as your biological child. The fact that you did not push that child out of your womb does not make any difference. Men claim children. Do they have wombs? Are they delivering babies? Maybe it is because you donated sperm. What if the baby was... I always ask, what if it was switched at birth? What if you had a baby in the hospital and there were two other people that had babies as well, and they switched the babies? At birth, when you were... Maybe you had a surgery or you even pushed and they took the babies to go and claim and they return. When they return, you don't know. You will not tell. If you push out the baby girl and your neighbor, the other woman pushes her baby girl and they switch, you will not know. So if they hand over this girl to you and 13 years later, they reveal that, okay, maybe something happened, and they now start doing investigation and they find out that this baby was actually switched at birth. And the hospital reaches out to you because it happens. It is still happening. They reach out to you and say, we are so sorry. The baby we gave you was someone else's. This is actually your baby. When they bring that child, 13 years old, to you, are you telling me that you cease loving this one immediately and fell in love with the other one because it's your child? No. The other one, you have to learn. Understand her. Stay with her for some time. Get to know her. And then build a relationship. You are not going to automatically... Yes, you will fall in love with her because it's your child. But you will not automatically go in sync with her. Because she will have her own ideologies, her ways of thinking and mannerism. You don't know. This other one too, when she gets to the other family, she's going to be a stranger for some time. They will have to learn to understand her. She will have to learn to accept them. That's when they begin to flow. So if that can happen in real life, then it can happen intentionally, because that was a mistake. It can happen intentionally. They can give you a baby that you did not birth. Because it's your baby and you raise that child, you fall in love with that child and you raise that child as your own. There is no difference between that one and the so-called one that you had. It's just a mindset thing, misconceptions that we have lived with all these years. And that's what gave rise to this program. Because a lot of families are dying. People are suffering, dying in silence. People are depressed because they cannot have children. And because everybody makes it look okay and makes it look like it's simple, they go and they have, and they say, oh, I prayed and God answered me. So you have been praying for 10 years. So God is not listening to your prayers? Or your sin is worse than theirs? Or they will say it's your village people? Or they will say it's a cause, it's family cause, you go for how many deliverances will you go for before you make yourself happy? By answering a call that God is actually giving out to you. There are so many children I have. Take one and raise for me. Don't you think that is a service to God? And then you want to limit your life to what people will say. What they say, what has that got to do with anything, really? For me, I don't think I care what people say. If I'm doing the right thing, I don't care what you say. I say it every time that I adopted my baby. And I'm raising my baby. She's my child. So you say what you want to say. At the end of the day, she comes home to me. So you need to open your mind and your head, especially those of you that are waiting. Don't be listening to what people will say. You do you. Let's hear.
As God not give me, so I go manage them like that. I go know say that's what God want that, because the people, the adopter where I want go do, I don't know whether I'm a madman, I'm born am, or I'm a better person born am. So what I want go do that one for.
So the people whose parents were, according to him, mad people, what are they? They are not human beings. They are not created by God. So a mad woman gets raped. They do all the time, and has a baby. And that baby is retrieved from her because she is in no position to take care of that child. And you're telling me that you don't have enough love in your heart to take that child and raise. So the child should be termed mad because the mother is mad. Is that what I'm getting from this? I mean, we just open our mouths and we say things. We don't think about what we are saying. And when you raise children with this kind of mindset, they become the adult of tomorrow, fixated on this kind of mindset, never, ever, ever open to helping others, to accepting others, to taking people in. If the man that we listened to earlier, if the people that took him in, he was sick. He was to the point of bedridden. He was bedridden. He wasn't able to take care of himself. They had to remove, poo and pee from where he was lying and feed him lying down. What if those people had this mindset? In this age and time, they will say, this sickness is spiritual. Though. Let it not come and enter my family. Let it not enter my children. And we become spiritually selfish. So selfish, and we cover it with our spirituality. You see someone suffering on the road when you're walking by, you say, maybe it's an attack. Let me not go and get involved. And you go to church tomorrow and you raise your hands and you say you're a Christian. How are you a Christian? How are you a child of God? And I'm not just bringing Christians. Everybody, Muslims, even the atheists, whatever you are. Humanity needs help. And to open your heart to helping people, that's what makes you human. Love is a universal language. It's not limited to your religion or to your ethnicity or your country or your race. So all we need to do is open our hearts and bring out what we have inside to give to the next person. We are becoming too complacent, too selfish. We see people suffering, we look away, and the one that worsens it is when we now spiritualize it and say, it's an attack, let me not get involved so that it will not come and enter me. If you are a strong Christian or Muslim, whatever religion, you should be strong enough to bounce off whatever evil around you. If you believe in that religion so much, it should be able to protect you Don't you think so? Let's listen to the next guy.
It is not like that you gave birth to a child. It must have maybe happened because maybe you don't really have a child somehow and you just decide because of some certain situations or pressure coming from the families or friends or community, you just decide to, at least by all means, you need to have maybe somebody that at least you could come back home and meet, and somebody could say like, welcome mommy or welcome dad and something. Maybe so that you're just getting tired of maybe how empty the house is, you don't have a child, maybe because of some certain issues. Maybe you can't be fertile, the woman can't really conceive, or maybe the issues is with the husband. So one situation or the other could probably lead to child adoption.
See a child you like and you just feel okay, maybe this child is homeless or this child needs guidance.
He pointed something, not just homelessness, guidance. You can see a young boy who is maybe 6, 7, 8, 13, just roaming the streets. As a young man, you know how you grew up. Maybe some of you men who are now very responsible, when you grew up, you used to fight a lot, you used to steal, you used to climb trees and all of that. You have grown up and you have sense now. You have made something out of your life. You may not even be married, but you see that young boy and your spirit tells you something. That's God speaking to you. You can take him in. You can raise him. You can guide him. It might not even be forever. It might just be that you want to put him into your house, take care of him. You might not even legalize it. You may know his parents, but you just take him in and say, every day when you come back from school, I want to see you from this time to this time in the afternoon. You follow him up, make sure that you see him through his lessons. What do we have to give? These days, young men, we are not impacting. Maybe the mother of that child is single, and has this boy, she cannot, a widow. She cannot bring in, she doesn't have enough what it takes to raise him. He's becoming rascally. He's joining the bad gangs. It's your responsibility. As soon as you feel that you are led to do that, that's God speaking to you. Pull that boy from the streets and help him with his homework and help him with life, train him and teach him things about life, what you went through. Those experiences, you went through them so you can use it to teach him. This is the time God is calling for what he has given you. That's what we're talking about. Impacting people, whatever way you can. Okay.
You being that, having that love, or maybe you feel like, okay, you're up to that age of having a child and you have not gotten one, so you just feel like, okay, let me just keep this one as my own.
I have a brother that have a similar problem. He married getting to 20 years without any issue. But at the end of the day, he adopted, presently now he has 2 kids that he adopted it. So it is a good method to adopt a child, so that when you train that child in a good way, at the end of the day, you will be smiling, the child too will be happy that he has a parent.
My people, this is it. What he said. He's talking about his brother and the wife who were married for almost 20 years and didn't have children. They had to adopt, and today they're happy. So even if you have been married for 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, you don't want to wait till 20 years. Yes, you can adopt now. In my own case, I tried, but I fell into the wrong hands more than 3 times. Okay, so I had to go and try again until finally it happened. So if you find the right means and you can, now I know what the difference is, you can also reach us to help and point you to the right direction for you to do it the legal way, so you don't fall into the wrong hands. Because when I fell into the wrong hands and I found out what they were about to do, we ran, because we insisted we must do it the right way. Even though the people that were trying to do were like feeling we were just being too difficult. No, we said we had to do it the right way. Even if it took me 20 years, I would wait for the right way. And then, thank God, it happened. So if you want to do it the right way. And if you reach out to us, we can point you to the right directions, like I said. So thank you to every single one who contributed on the streets today. I love you guys. Thank you for your opinion. It may not be the best opinion, but you have given us what we have been able to assimilate and then talk to people about. So thank you for your contributions. God bless you. And for those of you who are still here watching me, thank you for staying put and thank you for following me through this journey. I just have a few announcements I want to make to you concerning our program. You may have noticed from the last weekend that we did not have any program on Zoom. Some of you actually prefer to join us on Zoom, but we don't have on Zoom anymore because of the recordings and all of that. So please, since it's no longer live, we are recording and coming to you, I would plead with you to just go and click on the link under this. Join us on Instagram, join us on Facebook and on YouTube. You can watch from any of these platforms. And for those of you who are also coming for the first time, like I announced last week, we are no longer coming to you by 9 p.m. It will now be by 7 p.m. So that time, every Friday, 7 p.m., people are just coming back from work and they are still fresh. They can listen and watch and get to make their comments and share the links before they go to bed. So please note that henceforth the waiting room with Zyna, whether it is this episode or the next one that is coming or any season, the waiting room with Zyna is no longer by 9 p.m. on Fridays. It is now on 7 p.m. on Fridays. Okay, and also we are no longer on Zoom, but if for any reason we want to be on Zoom, we'll let you know. But for now, we are just on Instagram, we are on YouTube, and we're on Facebook. And also, this book is available on BAM-Books, on Okada Books, and on Amazon. You will see all the links to everything I've said down under this video. Thank you so much for watching. I remain your host, Zyna Obasi. I love you guys for all your support. I love you for all your comments and all the sharing. I love and appreciate you. Please keep sharing, keep commenting, keep subscribing to my channel and tell everyone about this program. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification button so you get notification whenever we are on. And please keep watching. God bless you. I will come back to you again next week, Friday. Until then, bye.